Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of Funhaus. Today, I'm joined by John Smith, Elise Willems, and James Willems.
Hey,
Hi, John.
I don't say their names together in case you think they're related.
Thank you.
Today's sponsors include Quip. If you go to getquip.com/film right now, you get your first refill for free, and Manscaped. You get 20% off plus free shipping with code FILMHOUSE20 at manscaped.com. But we'll be hearing from them later. Today, we're going to talk about some movies not in a theater near you.
I barely have any movies to talk about.
That was the point.
Yeah, mine's a
roll
lot of
the
TV
intro.
shows.
That's fine.
I have every single category. I went through every category of the service I chose, and I chose many things from each category. So if you want series, you want movies, you want kids shows, you want sports, you want documentaries, I got you.
Well, today we're talking about things you can watch at home because for some reason we're all being asked to stay home. I don't watch the news, so I don't know what's going on. And I'm not going to talk about it because of YouTube's strange guidelines. So, we're talking about all the things you can watch on streaming services. We picked many. Everyone here brought their own things that you can enjoy from the comfort of your own couch without having to go outside.
Yes.
So let's get to it.
But we each brought it from a different service.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we decided we picked 4 of the big services too.
Yeah. Not to mention I understand the world we live in right now where if it's not on Netflix and it's not on Hulu
Roosterteeth.com.
or that. I mean, who goes to Daily Motion to watch the full rip of Dirty Work? You know, it's hard because it's not streaming anywhere else.
Don't you only go to Daily Motion to watch Russian dash cams? Because that's on my list.
But the big streaming platforms we're talking about today are going to be Amazon, Hulu. What did you pick, James? Netflix and John has just picked a wide variety of
Jive
things.
Turkey.
Oh,
I said Jive Turkey,
Yeah.
the Roku channel,
Nice.
which is only blaxploitation films.
and John has picked HBO Go or Now or Max or whatever they want to call it. Who knows? They should just pick one. And if you don't have any of these streaming platforms, we apologize. But these are probably the big ones that I think we all agree are worth checking out. So let's just start out down the list going to the youngest person, John. This is how they do board
You can
games.
start with me?
He chose
Unless-
way too many.
I didn't choose too many. I'm going to pick the cream of the crop and then post the supplementary on my Rooster Teeth blog. I'm going to figure out how that works, and I'm going to make my first post on it
Cool.
with this whole list.
Well,
All right.
what should people be watching, John, from home?
Okay, well, if we're thinking about time, as much time as you can spend, a lot of these kids are home from school, not having anything to do. So I'm going to give you some big-ass series. There's movies and documentaries, but we're just going to cover the series.
Okay.
Go for it.
First off, HBO has a very close relationship with Danny McBride. And he has actually just finished, well, I don't know if he finished, but just started the third in the trilogy of what he calls the Misunderstood Angry Man Trilogy. So his first show, Eastbound and Down, which is about basically a washed-up MLB. What do you call baseball? Is it MLB?
Yeah.
A professional baseball player.
A washed-up pitcher moving back and becoming a PE coach in his hometown and just hating life. That's a great one. Vice Principals, which is much darker. Him and
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
Whatever.
It's very dark. It's not as like goofy as these other two, but still very good. And then Righteous Gemstones, which I feel like is almost he honed his craft of the southern angry goofball kind of persona and the whole world that it exists in. Because Righteous Gemstones follows like
It's a family.
a family that runs a mega church.
Yeah, they're like evangelist
Yeah.
preachers.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's got a much larger ensemble cast, I'd say, of like great characters.
Of those 3, I think that would be my pick.
Yeah, but with Righteous Gemstones, you're only getting 1 season. Vice Principals, you're getting 2. Eastbound and Down, you're getting 4 seasons.
You can also pretend it's just one show.
There you go. Yeah.
Because Danny McBride is generally Danny McBride in everything he's in. That being said, it doesn't mean that his range is what you need for the role in those series, though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's enough Danny McBride talk, is what I usually say when I leave the theater.
Do we really think Danny McBride his characters are misunderstood, though?
Well,
Or they're just dicks.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
that's
saying,
the
he's
thing.
like, they're misunderstood angry guys. I'm like, I think they're just angry guys.
Yeah, they're men who have not come to understand themselves.
Yeah.
They're misunderstanding themselves.
Yeah, but despite all
And trying to be
opportunities,
macho men, yeah.
despite all opportunities and 4 decades of lifetime, they haven't managed
Yeah.
to understand
Well,
themselves.
Hollywood keeps telling me I should like Danny McBride, and I have yet to listen. So I may give him a try. I just don't like him.
Adam,
I don't care for. It's like the Bob the Builder, or what's his name?
Bob the
Larry.
Builder.
Sorry, Larry the Cable Guy. Where it's like, no, it's a caricature. Like, cool. I don't like it. I'm not like people try to get me into Trailer Park Boys
son
and
of a bitch.
King of the Hill. Just not my thing.
What's your favorite McBride?
Alien Covenant.
Gotcha. Good one.
Yeah.
He was good in Heartbreak Kid.
You're right. He was good in Heartbreak Kid, starring Ben Stiller
I think-
and Malin Ackerman.
I think I liked him, and this is the end. All right, moving on. Elise, you have picked Hulu. What can we watch
What?
on this great platform?
did, and-
We're going one at a time.
Oh,
We're doing like a round robin.
So-
Oh my god, I have
can't-
so much more.
I can't have you talk for 30 minutes at a time.
I probably would have gone more movies if I was doing a different service, but I use Hulu almost exclusively to watch shows. So I'm going to lead with a series. Mine is the series Pen 15.
Oh yes.
What makes Pen 15 worth watching? And
Oh my God.
It's
watching
fun.
at home?
It's escapism. The fact that it's a period piece in more ways than one, but the fact that it takes place in the early 2000s means that you might want to escape some of the realities of today and go back to a simpler quote unquote time. And it's about 2 best friends who are 13 and they're portrayed by women who are like in their early 30s. So it's a funny gimmick.
So good.
A lot of the humor comes out of just them doing that, them gawking at boys, but it's these 2 clearly nearing middle-aged women.
Well, because they're the only ones who are cast as
they're the only
everyone
ones.
else is age appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah,
cast.
so all the
Yeah.
other students and everything are 12, 13-year-olds.
They're pretending to have, or they're acting like they have crushes on these
Yeah.
little boys, and the
So
juxtaposition is amazing.
It's just going to be a silly, fun time for you. It tackles subject matter that is, of course, of the age. So, like, there are girls that are dealing with getting their periods, masturbating, liking boys, drinking. Like, it's all,
Being
all that.
unpopular.
Being unpopular, thongs. Like, it's like, it's a ridiculous show. And these women are amazing in it.
Well,
And I feel that I loved this show. I feel that maybe there's been other versions of it that I haven't seen, but it's the first time where I think our generation was looked back on and was accurately portrayed as a
As an
past
adolescent.
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the year 2000 and they nail it so good with frosted tips and whale tails and
Yeah.
all those things.
I would also, this also falls into a category which is some weird, I don't know how you'd explain it, but a genre of stuff that is made for us, right? But it's also made for, like, you could watch it as the person at the age that they're purporting to be, and you would learn so much about what you're going through. Big Mouth is another
Yeah.
one. Big Mouth is a cartoon for adults, but if you showed it to a child, and it's a shame that you're never going to show like that to a tween or an early teenager, like those shows are made for you to understand what's happening to you.
Yeah.
They're like
when
therapeutic.
back then you didn't understand and you were just going through it, and now we all have hindsight.
It's a show with all the answers, and man, it's just so good at it.
It's a great
this,
one.
It's a great show.
It's escapism.
Yeah.
these are all things that actually I kind of just need recommendations to right now because I feel like I'm getting into the loop of just watching the same stuff
Yeah.
over and over. And if you feel that way, maybe this is a good time to broaden your horizons with older women portraying young women. It looks a lot of fun. Actually, this is the first time I've seen anything of it.
So good.
Yeah, and I just realized Pen 15 looks like the word penis. I don't know if they knew that
Oh,
No.
what?
going into it.
Nah, it's accident.
No.
Also, I think season 2 is about to, or at least they've wrapped shooting it. I don't know when it's going to drop. But.
I'm moving on to my recommendation. I'm choosing the platform Amazon and the show Patriot. I've been telling you guys to watch it for a while, and it is damn good. It's a dark comedy. It's basically if Tom Clancy had the writing stylings of a Coen brother, and it's so damn good. I highly recommend it. It's only 2 seasons. I think you may only recognize 2 of the actors from the show. What's that, Elise?
Is it canceled?
No, it's absolutely canceled. It was
I know.
canceled. They were about to get a third season.
What's the premise?
The premise is about a character. I forget his name actually. He's basically a spy for the U.S. government. He's asked to go on a mission, and a lot of it involves infiltrating a small business in the middle of like Milwaukee. But so many things just fall apart where he's constantly he basically just needs to work at a job where he can travel to Amsterdam, or some European country. I'm forgetting. I watched this a little while ago, but he has to keep traveling back and forth. So he's using this place as a cover. But so many things are going wrong just at the place that he works that sort of just ends up becoming the show.
Mm-hmm.
And the spy stuff kind of falls into like the second part. It's like kind of the background. And it's just so much more about the characters and the humor. It is just such a expertly crafted show. It's shot well.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's perfectly acted. There's only 2 seasons. You can get through it pretty quick. And I think it only gets better the more you watch it. So yeah, that's
Adam?
if you have Amazon Prime, please watch the show.
Why do I choose this over The Americans, which has 17 seasons?
Because there's only 2 seasons. And I think each episode's only like 30 minutes long. I could be wrong about that, but I remember the show just moving really, really fast. And the main actor, I don't know if he's gone on to do anything else. He plays this really sad character who is just perpetually depressed. And you just feel so bad for him as he goes through this show, but you're rooting for him in such a weird way. I don't know. The show has so much character and it's so good. It's one of the most unique things I've ever watched. And it's a shame that not enough people watched it. But hey, if they're going to back The Expanse season 4 or whatever, who knows? They might come back with
maybe we'll bring
Patriot.
it back.
So highly recommend watching this little show.
I would like to chime in and concur. This is a show that Omar has been telling me to watch, I think, since I started at Funhaus. And it's very good, and you'll love it.
If you like dark comedy, it like I said, it feels like the Coen brothers worked on a spy thriller.
Yeah, they're just so good at telling a story and creating these characters that are multifaceted and hilarious and like pained, and it's just phenomenal.
Anyway, I've said enough. Please check it out. It's not going anywhere. I think it's on Amazon forever. So moving on to James, you have chosen Netflix.
I chose the Jive Turkey Roku channel. My movie is Foxy Brown.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it is.
Jive Turkey is a streaming service?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get. It's a Roku channel that you can pay money to watch blaxploitation films.
Oh.
I don't have it, but anytime I log into Roku, it asks me if I want to buy it, and I say no, thank you.
Yeah, we should play a game next time and say, what's the most obscure streaming service and why is it the Sundance Channel?
Jive Turkey's pretty obscure.
Yeah, that is pretty. There's Shudder too, which is also a weird one.
I picked Netflix, which is kind of an easy one, but I feel like I'd let you guys.
Everyone's got it. It's basically free.
basically free.
It's not.
You know?
It's pretty expensive
So use
now.
your parents' login.
Yeah.
Narcos is, in my opinion, one of the best shows ever made. I think everything everyone's named thus far is in the upper tier category of best content.
Well, now we've moved past the Pablo Escobar stuff. Is it still a good show, James?
Yes, I am currently
It's a leading
watching
question.
Narcos Mexico season 2 right now. But Narcos is the kind of show where you keep saying there's no way it can get any better. And the first 3 seasons deal with the Colombian drug trade and the rise of cocaine. And it's very historical. There's a lot of narration in the early seasons that like give you history, and you can basically have a Wikipedia article open while you are watching the show and follow along with everything. But it still manages to be an extremely compelling drama. Like all the twists and turns that you get in like a Game of Thrones, they put in this, and it really makes you think about how art is a reflection of life, and you're like, oh, that would never happen.
But it did.
Except it did. The insanity did. At most, sometimes they'll take characters that were like 3 people and combine them into one. But a lot of it, I would say most of it is in Spanish. But this is the first time after Game of Thrones where I know everyone loves Pedro Pascal now, but he shines in this show. He's stellar. And the actor, the Brazilian actor who plays Pablo Escobar, is incredible. Incredible. Because the show is a cat and mouse. It gives equal screen time to the DEA agents who are going after Pablo as they do to Pablo setting up his organization and fighting off basically all of the other families and stuff to maintain his control over the drug trade.
Now, I have a problem though with the historical context of the show.
Okay.
If you could shed some light on this, there's a part where a news reporter says he can do anal with her in the back of a van. Did that actually happen? How did they know?
Did they combine those characters into one?
I think that woman is real, and it was it was one of those things where she was like shunned from her. She got these inside scoops from Pablo Escobar because
she
they had
was
a
sleeping
sexual
with him.
relationship.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that part, and like, as you're reading the subtitles, she goes, "Fuck me in the ass," and I go, "How'd they know that?"
I mean, I'm
History's
sure it takes
weird.
some liberties.
I don't know.
But,
Well, you go home and you write "Dear Diary, fucked in the ass"
Yeah.
for the info.
There you go. Would you like this scoop of what Pablo did to me?
but yeah, the most amazing thing about this
poop
show
scoop.
is that it, unlike some other shows like Breaking Bad's or I'm just trying shows where the main person is clearly the bad guy, but you're rooting for them.
Right.
This show is very in your face about how he is a bad person.
Okay.
He's a bad guy.
Does it have
and
the
he
Billie
did
Eilish song so
bad
we
things.
know?
No, this predates that. I think this show was on before she was born. 2016. Yep.
And you're standing by saying that Narcos, even once they get out of Colombia, it's still a show worth watching.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Then more recently, they just had the second season of Narcos Mexico, which is it's like a full cast reset, and they focus on the rise of the marijuana trade and then eventual cocaine trade in Mexico. And Diego Luna plays Miguel Feliz, who is the equivalent, Pablo Escobar equivalent. But the best thing about it is that these events are happening at the same time, so you see characters that you saw from previous seasons interacting with each other. But it's still amazing, but they started with the big fish. Pablo Escobar is the most successful drug trafficker of all time. And so when they do this other one, you're like, this is really compelling. But they'll have scenes where they talk about how much bigger Pablo Escobar, everything Pablo Escobar is doing while this guy's doing his stuff is way more massive, like times 100. But it's still incredibly acted. It has some amazing action sequences. This show is, I've said to people, is maybe one of the best series I've ever seen in my life.
Brave. That is brave.
It's like this is Spartacus.
Has El Chapo bought his tiger yet in the show?
He did.
Oh,
It's
great.
in there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good thing. You know what else is brave? Having a great set of teeth. And you can get that with Quip, who has a word for us right now. So I want to take this moment to let you know that this episode of Funhaus is brought to you by Quip. Quip makes what I would like to call the most perfect electric toothbrush. It's something that I didn't know I needed in my life until we got a couple here, and now I can't see myself ever living without it. They make this amazing, perfect, modern little device that goes in your mouth and cleans your teeth. What a crazy idea. Now, one of my favorite things about it, actually, it has a timer built in, so it tells you when you should be switching around your mouth. Something that I wish I had as a kid, instead of just kind of looking at a watch and saying, is that enough time? Is my mom going to get upset at me for, not brushing my teeth long enough? Those days are gone. So talking more about Quip's toothbrush, it actually has sensitive sonic vibration, which is a built-in timer. That's what I was talking about earlier. That helps make sure you get your mouth as clean as humanly possible. There's also a Quip floss dispenser, which looks insanely modern. I don't know if you've seen floss containers lately. They always look like a tooth, and they're ugly as hell. They finally actually made something that looks cool and sleek that you can travel with. And it's not embarrassing to, just keep up on your counter. I actually really like what they're doing there. Plus, Quip delivers fresh brush heads, floss, and toothpaste refills to your door every 3 months with free shipping, so your routine is always just right. Join over 3 million healthy mouths and get Quip today, starting at $25. Not so bad. So go to getquip.com/film right now, and you'll get your first refill for free. That is your first refill free at getquip.com/film. Quip, the good habits company. Check them out. Thank you, Quip. All right, moving on. That was just one round we did.
Yeah,
that
how
was
many
one
rounds are we gonna
lap.
do? Oof.
One lap. Can you imagine? We don't know how long we're going to be asked to stay home and do these things, but if there's one thing I've learned from any of this, we have a lot of stuff that we can watch, and that's okay.
I
and
thought you
that's
said we
good.
could talk for a long time.
I know we can talk forever, and we can't do that to you guys because you're all chomping at the bit. Like, what do I watch next? So, John, you already gave us some great stuff.
Did he though?
No,
Danny
I thought it was
McBride-
all terrible. So I want him to.
I thought it was
I want you to redeem yourself.
Yeah,
'cause
redeem.
You got a big list
right.
here. So
Well, I'll let you know
Wow
that
me.
Will Ferrell and Anna McKay love Danny McBride.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
They also backed Christina Applegate on that show. That's not very good.
If you're a
and I
fan of
watched it.
comedy, you will love the shows that I recommended.
I hate comedy.
So I'm going to stick with the comedy route, and I'm going to go old school. This is a show that you might not have heard of. I guess in the 80s and 90s, Garry Shandling was a household name, and everyone knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I did not know who he was until the DVD of Not Just the Best of Larry Sanders Show came out, and everyone was talking about it. Turns out the Larry Sanders Show was the first original series on HBO that basically brought HBO from just being like a paid home TV movie service
Yeah.
to being, a content creation megalith or
Most
whatever.
people think it was Arliss, but
Yeah.
but no, it was the Larry Sanders Show.
It wasn't Eureka.
First of all, it's pronounced Arla dollar.
Oh, I mean, a lot. You hear a lot of writers that were coming up in the day talk about how they were clamoring to get to work on Larry Sanders Show. Like that was sort of the Valhalla for comedy writers.
Explain the premise of the show, John, for those who don't know what it is.
So
'cause-
the Larry Sanders Show Larry Sanders is a late night comedian who, in their universe, is competing with David Letterman and Jay Leno and all those guys. They're talking about their ratings and stuff, and it follows him and his cast and crew as they run the show every day. And it's, I'd say it's better than Entourage.
Okay, all right.
Brave.
But it is like Entourage in that every episode has actors and celebrities coming on playing caricatures of themselves, and it kind of gives it sort of that's also kind of like the Larry Sanders or not
Curb?
the Larry Sanders, Curb, where these actors have a personal real life relationship with Garry Shandling, so they come on the show and they play up a character of themselves, and it's very funny, very good. A lot of people getting their early starts. Regrettably, I guess Jeffrey Tambor is in it, but maybe this was before he was corrupted by the power of Hollywood. Rip Torn, phenomenal. Just everybody in it is so
Up and
great.
comer Rip Torn. At the age of 45.
you may have
but-
seen him in The Beastmaster.
Jeffrey Tambor plays this character named Hank, and he's like the announcer / sidekick to the host, which was something that was a regular thing for all late night talk shows back in the day. That's
Yeah.
not really a thing anymore.
McMahon.
But his character is the most egotistical, fragile character ever, and is just a comedy goldmine.
So the show is probably it set the tone for future shows like 30 Rock to come along, right? Where it's like you're getting a peek behind the show,
Yeah.
but the actual show doesn't exist. That's sort of the weird thing.
I mean, I've never actually sat down to watch it all the way through. I would watch it occasionally when it was coming on TV, like as a kid. But this set the tone for every entertainment industry insider show that ever came afterwards.
Well,
This set the tone for Eric
Yeah.
Andre,
and also like single camera comedies.
Oh yeah.
Too, yeah.
Yeah.
This is stuff that was being done late 80s, early 90s. Like it's way ahead of its time.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. The quick shout out, actually, I'm not going to mention this one, but it is a Netflix series. I don't know if you've seen it's a CNN show technically, but I think you guys turned me on to it. The 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s and 2000s, and so many they do one of the history of comedy, and so many comedians point to the Larry Sanders Show and say how important it was to their careers and everyone else, and it is like this Rosetta Stone essentially of modern day comedy. I had no idea. It was one of the shows that I was
He's
too
Hydra
young.
the whole time.
And then he later became. That's funny that he'll forever be remembered as the guy who whispers "Hail Hydra" in someone's ear. Anyway, great pick, John.
Thank you.
You've
Larry-
almost redeemed yourself.
I was going to say Larry Sanders Show is only second to Eastbound and Down.
I hate you so much right now. Elise, what do you got for us?
I'm going to group two together so it's really, really quick. They're both FX or FFX shows. One is the What We Do in the Shadows adaptation that was made into a TV series. The other is Fargo. There are 3 seasons of Fargo that you can watch on Hulu.
How many of those do you need to watch? Though?
I would watch the first 2. 3 is optional if you're really bored.
Yeah. New one's coming.
New one's coming, so if you do want to get prepped, they do sort of like tie into each other and sometimes not even direct ways, but just, the first 2 I would say are the most connected. But yeah, Fargo is masterfully written, masterfully acted, made. It's from the dude that did Legion and
Noah Hawley.
Yeah.
The upcoming Doctor Doom movie that will probably never get made, but fingers crossed. He's an interesting dude.
But every season of Fargo gives you a great new cast. It's an anthology series with loose connections. What We Do in the Shadows, their new season comes out, I believe, this month or next month. And so this would be a great time also to go and watch. I was skeptical of this show when it first came out, and I saw the trailer because it felt like it was regurgitating and reusing a lot of the jokes from the movie. And I thought, oh no, this is going to be like just a retread or a very weak adaptation? But no, it does find its own character, its own legs, its own story to tell, and it's funny and just again great escapism and really fun to watch. I won't say much more.
The world needs more Matt Berry.
Yes,
throw that one
it
out
absolutely
there.
does.
Well, I was gonna say, when we started watching it, the hardest thing you get over is the movie is so amazing and you're looking for that cast, or you feel like they tried to cast their new TV show to fill those roles. But then once you realize that, oh no, they made a conscious decision to not do that, then you love these characters just as much as you love the other characters. Because if we watched the first episode and we were like, we'll keep watching this because we believe in this, but it wasn't that funny. But we recently went back and started rewatching it, and I was like, no, this is funny from the very beginning. I just wasn't prepared for it.
In a similar vein, if you do binge multiple Fargo seasons back to back, this is something that I did. I binged seasons 1 and 2, and then when season 2 started, for the first half of season 2, I was going, it's not season 1 because it's anthological, or it's an anthology where season 2 is a brand new cast, brand new story, and I was comparing it too much. But once I got over that and saw it as its own thing, I think I like season 2 even more.
Oh, season 2 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think better than the first one.
Ooh. Yeah, love it. Going down my list, this is still on, going back to Amazon. Combine these ones real quick. Fleabag, a show that Elise turned me on to. I think everyone knows about it, so it's like you should just watch it. It's a great show. Once again, only 2 seasons. You can get through it super quick, 30-minute episodes. First season's good. Second season's amazing. Insane. But I want to talk about this little movie that I kind of liked it, A Quiet Place. I'm only saying that because I noticed it's on Amazon Prime, and the new movie was delayed. So if you want to see what all the hubbub is about, now is a good time to watch a movie in silence.
You're not watching the trailer.
You're just watching a clip.
Oh, spoiler.
So?
That's a spoiler. I don't know. I haven't seen it. The title of the scene makes it sound like a spoiler.
Okay. Well, clip that? I don't know. Spoiler, people die in The Quiet Place. Some characters you may love. You don't know because you can't hear them. Anyway, I thought the movie was interesting, and you took a gamble trying to see it in the movie theater. So this is actually a good way where you don't have to worry about people being loud and brash, Except maybe you learn you don't love a loved one so much.
John will be watching Bird Box instead.
The original Quiet Place. Some say better. All right, James, moving back over to the old Netflix. I think everyone knows your
Netflix.
Comfort place.
I'm going with NCIS.
Okay.
There's 1,000 episodes, each one worse than the last.
Okay.
It's the perfect thing to rot your brain during this time.
Here it
I'm not
is.
actually saying NCIS.
Oh, thank God.
There is a lot on Netflix, though, and it will rot your brain. Everything I said is true, except for my pick.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and throw it out here. The Irishman. I'm not going to pick an actual movie.
Wow.
The Irishman.
Okay, I disagree.
I think that this... let me explain.
I know what you're going to say.
I think that this movie is just okay. I think I said that it feels like there's a really good 90-minute Martin Scorsese movie, but then there's 2 hours surrounding that movie that is only worth watching if you can't leave.
Yeah.
If Topher Grace is listening right now, please re-edit The Irishman and upload it to places you upload things.
Again, cause it's not like it's worthless. There's still amazing things. Like, it's weird because there's glimpses of genius. It's just overly long. So, Joe Pesci is amazing in this. Al Pacino is amazing in this. Ray Romano's in it. Everyone's in this movie, and it's really good. It does an amazing job capturing this time period and showing it through decades.
What does Ray Romano do in the movie?
He's a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer. Sorry. I just want to do the voice.
But yeah, so it covers a huge amount of time. Robert did this, but then it has other things at the same time, which is just so long, and you're like, what? Can we get to the point here of this thing? And Anna Paquin's in it, and she doesn't say a word. But that being said,
are they going to do a road cut or
no? I don't think so.
That sucks.
That being said, there's a really, really good Jimmy Hoffa movie inside of this movie, and that's Al Pacino's story.
Okay,
but it's about 90 minutes. Of Jimmy Hoffa's movie inside this movie. So you need to watch the rest of it to get to it.
Couldn't you watch Hoffa instead?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But you're thinking of Gotti starring John Travolta.
Oh, right.
Yes, which is not on any of our lists.
I don't think this movie is amazing, but I think if you got time to kill, this is probably the best time to watch The Irishman.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to watch it on the go.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys know who's winning these rounds because I am keeping score of what you guys are offering. I did assign a point tally to each one of these based on what you guys pick. So we will be finding out more about that. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Manscaped. Today, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Manscaped, for sponsoring this episode of Funhaus. Guys, let me tell you about it. Shaving down there or anywhere in that troubled region it's rough. It could be a little rough, and trying to find something that's helpful is even tougher sometimes. But thankfully, with Manscaped, I've been making that whole ordeal a lot simpler. This is true facts. I've been trying to find something to trim my undercarriage for a while, and it actually wasn't until Manscaped sent us the Lawnmower 3.0, this handy little device, little rechargeable, nice little cleaner. Man, it has been night and day. It's really nice to take care of yourself and not nick and scratch. And man, it's great. It's really good. So Manscaped actually So the Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. That's in the ad read. I get to say that. And they just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. That's what I'm telling you about. It is a really, really good product. So one of the coolest features is that it has an LED light, which illuminates grooming areas as you move closer, so more precise trimming. It's just basically a little flashlight. It makes things, shaving in the dark sometimes can be a bit cumbersome. Or when you're, got the one foot on the toilet and you're doing the whole thing and you're blocking the light. Very helpful. No, I'm not joking. I'm actually being very serious. It comes with a little charging stand. It's an overall great product. I don't think I can say enough nice things about it. But if this is something you're very interested in, you should really check it out for yourself. So you can get 20% off and free shipping with code FILMHOUSE20 if you go to manscaped.com, where your balls will thank you. Mine have been very thankful to me. Sometimes they look up and say, "Dear Father, thank you so much for giving us a haircut every now and then." So once again, you get 20% off plus free shipping with code FILMHOUSE20. That's FILMHAUS 20. The digits 20. Just type it in. Pretty easy. So thank you so much, Manscaped, for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you, Manscaped. All right. Lap 3, the final lap, and then some other stuff we can talk about at the end. And this is the fun. Well, 3 laps.
All right, okay.
I didn't tell you guys before this that we are scoring, and I have made a game out of this.
No, he didn't.
Nope, because I wanted it to be pure. So, John, your third and final recommended list. Take it away.
I have 3 shows here. I'm going to pick Veep.
Oh, great pick.
Choice.
Yeah.
Great
pick.
choice, though. I did see some of the other things on that list, and I don't know how you made that choice.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't pick what I feel is the greatest television show of all time. I picked Veep, which is also great.
Veep's fantastic.
I think Veep is probably
Veep is fantastic.
One of the best comedies, yeah.
It follows the Vice President of the United States. At least that's what she is in the first season. It follows her political career. It stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the little girl from what was she in?
My Girl?
Oh, My Girl. The little girl from My Girl.
And My Girl 2.
And My Girl 2.
Thank you.
I'm forgetting everyone's name. What's his name?
His name's
He's
Matt.
Upright Citizens
Matt?
Brigade.
Yeah.
Matt something. from Upright Citizens Brigade.
Just don't worry about
Basically,
the actors. It's fine.
Instead of naming the actors, I'm just going to tell you that it's an incredible ensemble cast, and it is like The West Wing meets comedy.
The insults, the barbs, the roasts in
Yeah.
this show
Well, I
are
think-
top notch.
I think once you realize that the show is nothing but insult comedy, and there's a story that you do want to pay attention to because it is interesting to follow her political career. It's basically just a hidden way for them to write the most mean things about other characters. And sometimes it's just like you can tell they're improving some of it, and some of the stuff is just mean. But
brutal.
God, I
Anna
love it.
Klumsky.
Yes,
I'm going to say that once you finish watching Veep, you got like, how many seasons were there? 7?
4. Wait,
No,
7.
There are 7.
Yeah, sorry. We're just looking at clips from seasons 1 through 4, which is like the show was good all the way through.
Once you finish watching it, get the audiobook narrated by Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Tony Hale, because that's a fun, really fun listen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you said the audiobook is actually a fictional autobiography of the character.
First woman, a woman first.
Yeah, and it's her reading it, but she keeps interrupting to ask her assistant things.
Yeah.
That's great.
At one
Yeah, I
point, she
need
has to
listen
pee,
that.
so she makes him take over, but he has to really pee as well.
And it's also about her coming of age. It's like her flowering and stuff, and so Tony
Oh,
Hale's
yeah.
reading. It's perfect.
Yeah. It comes from, I'm going to butcher his name, Armando Nucci. Is
Yes.
that who is currently working on Avenue 5, which is just kind of okay.
Yeah.
But before this, he did The Thick of It and, what's that movie
Death of
called?
Stalin might be on HBO
There was one
right
before that
now.
as well, which is basically The Thick
Oh,
of It
I know what
movie.
you're talking about. Something out of the
in
loop.
in the loop.
in the loop?
Yeah, which is just I've never been super into politics, but I love his take on it and just sort of peeling back the bureaucracy and showing like how everyone's hands are basically tied and then how people try to work within the system, but then within there just insulting the shit out of people. Having the character Malcolm Tucker is like one of the best comedy characters ever. Who is he was the Doctor Who for a while. I forget the actor's name. Terrible actor name. Anyway.
Oh, that guy was in The Thick of It? That was the Thick of It guy.
Yeah. Actually, here we can cut this. I'm doing this. I don't know if you guys seen this. Anyway, that's the type of humor that I love when it's embracing but also mocking something that so many people love. So, great pick, John. Oh my God.
Thank you.
I don't want to give it away, but you're doing very well.
all right.
Danny McBride.
I have not forgotten, Elise. Much like the South, I still remember. All right, Elise, what do you got for us?
I've talked about this on the show all the time before. Inside Number 9. It's from. Oh my God, we're all blanking on names today. Reese Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton. Oh my God, and they're two. You might know them from like League of Gentlemen. They're two comedians, but then they
LXG?
also have a really dark skew to their writing. And it's an anthology, so each episode tells a different story. There are about 6 episodes a season, and every single episode is centered around something to do with the number 9. So it's like a house that's the number 9 on a street, or the number 9 train car in a train, or the number 9, like they're showing a ton right there. Just so there's number 9 orchestra door, like
That's not really the most important part of the show, though,
it's
right?
not.
It's more that each episode kind of takes place in just like
It's just a motif, yeah.
yeah. It's always
Yeah.
like 1, maybe 2 rooms at most.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is really
yeah.
I think that forces people to stretch creatively, and they do it so well.
And and Steve and Reese, they play different characters in every episode, and then they fill out the cast with other talent.
They're all like one-act plays too, and they all have twists. They all
Yeah.
have twists and turns and stuff. But sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're scary.
Yeah.
They all have some sort of levity because it's generally one of them wearing a fake goatee or a silly wig or something like that.
The 5th season just aired in the UK, and then it also came yesterday, actually, yesterday, as in the day we recorded this yesterday, but it just came to BritBox on Amazon. So if you want to get that like BritBox subscription, you can watch the new 5th season too. But yeah, I just think this show is marvelous.
It was some of the episodes are hit or miss, but it was the one where I believe it's the 2nd episode, but it's the 2 guys stealing the art,
Yeah,
where there's
silent episode.
there's almost no dialogue in it, which is another show I talked about nonstop before, but Mr. Robot did. But I always remember Inside Number 9 doing it so well, and it's to do a show like that where it's nothing but action. and also then shooting it only in like 1 or 2 rooms the whole time is just expertly crafted. It made me fall in love with the show.
The 1 or 2 rooms thing sounds very interesting because that's almost. It sounds like they're taking a theatrical approach to storytelling. Because like if you watch a lot of old Hitchcock films, you'll notice most of those take place in 1 or 2 rooms because they were all adapted from stage plays.
I almost put the Alfred Hitchcock's Presents on my Hulu list because that's also on Hulu.
Really?
Man.
Yeah.
You can't truly appreciate the movie 4 Rooms unless you've seen Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Believe you me, that's a deep cut.
But yeah, that sounds like a very unique show and a unique concept.
It's fantastic.
Man, that's man, Elise, you are doing very well.
Thank
You said
you,
that to
Adam.
John. While
Just-
also
Yeah, well, you
Danny
said I was doing,
McBride.
you
Don't
said
wanna
I
give
was
it
doing
away.
better than Elise.
And then
Danny
my
McBride.
final pick, I got a couple on there. I threw in real quick Ghost in the Shell. The anime's on there, I noticed, but Third Rock from the Sun
Oh yeah.
is one of the best sitcoms of all time that
Big giant head.
I think it's going to be, hopefully it's not forgotten by history. It's such a unique premise and it makes the show just so fun to watch. And I don't know, it's infinitely bingeable. There's something about it. Like everyone is so well cast. It is the story is about a group of aliens that are trying to assimilate within human society. And I think it's pretty much it's where John Lithgow got his start. And I know Elise loves funny old men.
That's not true at all. I mean,
not true
this
at
is
all.
where he kind of pivoted to comedy, I'd say.
I mean, he was doing stuff
Yeah.
well before this, but it's like, for me, this is where I was like, who is this funny guy who ended up being a bad guy in Cliffhanger?
Yeah, he's kind of that's the thing is like when you think of you go back to John Lithgow, Footloose, and
Yeah.
you're like, he's the mean preacher,
Right,
hates
right.
dancing, and then he's this same man. It was also a kind of resurgence for Jane Curtin, who is such a funny woman, and I think doesn't get regarded in the halls of comedy as such as much as she
Everyone is amazing on this show. I don't know, like it is so perfectly cast. I know like some people, it's like Jess loves Friends. She's like, every episode's amazing. I love it. It's so well cast. Like Third Rock from the Sun is my Friends. Where I can watch any episode. It's always funny. It's always good. It's always insanely well done. So anyway, if you want to see how Joseph Gordon-Levitt got a start and where French Stewart ended his, you can watch Third Rock from the Sun on Amazon. I think every season is on there. It's one of the few shows that I owned on DVD that I was like happy to see on streaming too, where I'm like, oh good, I can watch this whenever I want. So please watch Third Rock from the Sun.
Great.
All
Great
right.
choice, Adam.
Thank you.
You're doing really well.
I know who's doing the best. Believe me, it's all up here. All right, James. The last of the Netflix pick for you.
I had a bunch that probably I was gonna say American Vandal season 1, but I feel like this. If I can only pick one here, I'm gonna go with Chef's Table, the documentary series about these auteur chefs around the globe and the restaurants that they run. And I'm suggesting this for several reasons. One, it's a beautiful show which makes you drool every single time. The way they film food and the preparation of food is just incredible. But it also does a really amazing job of taking you around the world and getting you, like informing you about these chefs and what they've not only put into their foods now, but also how they got to that point in their career. There's an amazing story about this woman who runs a place in Los Angeles, actually, who is a sushi chef, but that culinary industry is especially sexist. So the things she had to overcome to become this, all now her restaurant, since this show has gone out, it was incredibly popular, but now it's got Michelin stars. It's one of the best restaurants in the world.
Well, she used to have to cook behind closed doors to let people assume that she was a man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because they noticed that it was affecting the reviews of like her restaurant and stuff. But it always has these really compelling stories. And I'm also picking this because if, like Los Angeles, all the restaurants are closed, you might not be getting your fill of going out to eat. And I know presentation is part of the going out to eat experience. And this is a pretty good filler for that. Visit all of the restaurants of the world while binging this show. And it's just incredibly well shot, beautiful documentaries.
Great spirit behind it.
They put a lot of thought into that one.
Yeah. There's a lot of people up their own ass in this one. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. They are auteurs.
Yeah.
They are auteurs.
I
but
would say
then you watch them
pretentious, but
cook,
yes.
and then you go, oh, well, I would have never thought to fill a pillow with rosemary and then put a lamb chop on top of it and then pop a hole in it. So like the way they cook, it's not like they go, I make pizza with the ragu, but the different ragu, low sodium ragu. There's incredible recipes and nothing looks the same. So.
Right. Yeah. I always enjoy seeing how people make food that you smell.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you don't eat it, you experience it. And there's like the sushi chef one was really interesting. How she was like, there is no menu. She makes it for you, and you have to I think you have to sit down for an interview or something like that, and send photos of your childhood. And she's like, excellent.
She just comes up with a plan, but every guest she's ever had, she writes down in a notebook and then cross-references that, so that way if you come again, she won't serve you the same thing. And we know people who've been, and she had to call because they had dietary restrictions. And she called the person a week before they were supposed to arrive to apologize because the ingredients she wanted to do to try something new weren't going to be the same. So there was going to be an appetizer that they had tried before. And she was calling to apologize and make sure that's okay and if they wanted to keep their reservation. And they were like, no, that's fine. She's like, everything else will be new, but this one thing I wanted to try something, but the recipe isn't
My God.
Yeah.
I order the exact same thing whenever I go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
You're a psychopath. Well, that's it for our recommendations of what you can watch while you're at home for the foreseeable future. Hopefully you could find some good entertainment. I think there was a common thread here. There was a lot of comedies on here. I think everyone's looking for some feel-good stuff. Right about now, we're watching food you can't eat. Who would do that to themselves? I don't know. You can't go to the restaurant. I guess you go over something that's like it. So with all that said, Adam wins because he picked Patriot, which is the best show you should watch. Actually, no, that was a tough.
I should have picked Patriot.
That's a tough one. Actually, funny enough, I think John wins because he picked Veep. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's strange.
Yes!
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a toss up between John, Elise, and James.
Okay, I see.
was
I
tough.
understand.
It was
I
really tough.
understand.
You all actually, and we do have an entire recommended list that we'll be posting on John's Rooster Teeth blog, which you could read. There's some great stuff in there. Elise didn't talk about, like Venture Brothers. I think is a.
Oh yeah, and you got 7 seasons of that. Too
Yeah.
Funny to Fail, the Dana Carvey show story.
So if you ever want to see when Stephen Colbert was
Jeez.
funny,
Yeah.
man, it's great. Naked Gun trilogy. Elise had some great stuff she didn't talk about.
Well,
And that's why she didn't win.
I had Hulu as well. If I had HBO, I definitely
Yeah.
would have had Veep on my list.
James definitely backed himself into a corner with,
I don't even see
with
your-
Netflix because it has everything.
John doesn't have Years and Years on his list, which I
No.
would absolutely include.
Is that on
my list.
HBO?
It is, John.
But-
Succession was on your list, but you didn't choose it.
Succession was on my list.
Succession.
So was
John-
6 of the Air Buddies films.
Yeah, which you would have got more points than for the Danny McBride stuff. Remember, the point of the game was to impress me and talk about
I
things
was not
I've
aware
already
of that.
seen. Oh, anyway. Also,
Little Rascals?
I don't know if you know this, James. Kingpin is now on Netflix. Does anyone remember the movie
Yeah,
Kingpin?
I
of
own
course.
it.
Really?
Yeah, I have
Oh,
the DVD.
I've been trying to get Jess to watch it for months now. I should have asked you to borrow it because it wasn't on anything until recently. Great movie. Actually holds up quite
Yeah.
well. So that is it for everything that we can give you recommendations for. Before we go, actually, I do like to do this where we go around the room. Is there anything you guys are watching right now that you think is worth checking out? We'll start with our winner of this game, James.
I'm currently in the midst of watching Narcos season 2.
Okay.
Which we mentioned already.
Elise, our winner of the fun round robin game that I just invented.
Mine actually ties into my recommendation list. High Fidelity, the series that just came to Hulu with Zoe Kravitz, assuming the John, what's his name? Cusack role.
Okay. I mean, if you loved her work in that one X-Men movie where she played a fairy or something,
She's great in High Fidelity.
I've heard nothing but good things. All right. And John, the winner of our little game.
I just, a week ago, finished the series, The Leftovers. It's Damon Lindelof, so it's very much like...
Mystery Box.
Yeah, mystery box where you don't know what's going on. And for me personally, that's frustrating, but I stuck with it. And I ended up really enjoying it, but it's definitely not for everyone. But I'd say look into it and see if it's something you might enjoy because you might enjoy.
Yeah. You know what I'm
know
going
where
to
you're gonna
start that I've never seen? Band of Brothers.
That is great.
I'm going to watch it.
It's a rough. There's some rough patches in there.
When are we going to do that? Because I don't know. We don't have time.
Oh, and then I'm going to do a final shout out. In case, depending on your streaming platform of choice, I was watching some video from. There's a YouTube channel that I enjoy their content. These guys, the Cosmonaut Variety Hour, I believe is their name. They do some fun little retrospectives. They did a whole bit on Dark Place, a British show that, the full name is Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It is a show within a show. It has Matt Berry in it, and I forget the actor's name from the IT crowd.
Richard Ayoade.
You ever seen Snuffbox?
Yeah, I've seen Snuffbox.
The entire series is on YouTube, and they refuse to take it down. So watch it while you can.
Yeah.
It is an amazing show. It's one of my favorites. Super bingeable. And if you don't have any of those streaming platforms, it's free on YouTube.
Yeah, watch it.
Super illegal, but there it is. It's an old show. I don't know if they collect any residuals on it, but it is. It's one of those things that's like I think every episode is hilarious, and it's so meta and so well done that you should definitely check it out. So
Will do.
yeah. So thank you everyone for watching or listening, however you choose to get your podcast. Thank you guys for being on the show today and
Thank
giving
you.
our audience some
Pleasure.
amazing recommendations. I think regardless of where you are, we just want you to be safe and be entertained, and we'll get through this thing together. I think we're going to be all right, and we're gonna have a few laughs in there when we watch Danny
Irishman.
McBride. Oh, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Boo.